All right, yo, what are you saying? Welcome back to ISOJ. Lovely to be back after a little 1 day break. You know, a little bit R&R in order. I think from here on out, like Wednesdays just aren't the day for me to record. I'm so tired. Anyway, I want to talk about the Warriors versus the Rockets, but we have some light admin to do, so let's go through the light admin. I want to talk about the games from yesterday and the day before. So the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Pacers. I genuinely can't see a way that the Bucks win this series. Dame had a stinker. 4 of 13 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3, 14 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds on the night for Dame. Which is, how do I put this in a way that is best to understand other than shit? Because that's what it was. Giannis was 14 of 20 from the field, 34-point game for Giannis, doing his numbers namesake, 18 rebounds, 7 assists. And this was kind of wasted. It was a close game. It wasn't necessarily like they got blown out again, but it still wasn't what you want to see from this Bucks team. And a team that especially you see Giannis, you see Dame, and you think they have championship aspirations. This team wants to win a title. You know, they won the NBA Cup, cool. But there's a monster that looms over the horizon in April. And that's what they want to conquer. And sadly, it doesn't feel like this team is going to be able to do it. A Bowie Portis masterclass, by the way. 11 of 19 from the field, 6 of 11 from 3, 28 points, 12 rebounds. Kind of wasted. And these are the things you have to take advantage of, is when your role players aren't always going to have pop-off games. Bowie Portis is not going to be able to do this in the next game. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I will say they get to play their 2 home games now, which I think is going to be pretty big for them. Maybe in Milwaukee, they can get something going. You know, they can feel the game a bit more. Their role players are comfy. Maybe Kyle Kuzma doesn't have a repeat of game 1. Maybe Brook Lopez is in for, a 20-point outing. Taurean Prince can somehow give you 20 points. I don't have the most faith in this team, though. I feel like the Pacers, both offensively and defensively, kind of have their number. Tyrese didn't have a great shooting night, 3 of 10 from 3, but still contributed well. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists. Pascal Siakam, 24 points, 11 rebounds. I feel like for the Bucks to win this series, you need Dame to not have a game like this. You need him to actually be effective on the court. And I don't know if that happens so soon after being ruled out. Like, you need to play yourself into shape. You need to get your body ready for these kind of moments. And I feel like he was not ready for this one. These next 2 games for the Bucks are going to be huge. This is season defining. Because if you go down 3-0, I think you're cooked. I don't care how good you are. I think you're cooked. So hopefully they can make something happen in game 3. Next, the Grizzlies versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'll be honest, I didn't watch this one. After the first game, I did not have hope for the second one. And I was right. They damn near lost by 30. I don't even want to say too much about box score and numbers, because Shea, 10 of 29, 29 shots to get 27 points. Wasn't the most efficient, but they won by 30, so I don't think anyone really cares. The Lakers versus the Timberwolves, 85-94. It's nice to see the Lakers step back from the mismatch hunting. It's nice to see them say, maybe Rudy Gobert can handle himself a bit better in this series so far. And he's shown to be okay in the minutes against Luka Doncic. This is a pretty good bounce back game from the Lakers. I think one of the big highlighting factors was they had 15 assists in that first game. They had 23 hit, which I think when you get the ball moving around, when people, you're trying to stretch that defense as much as you can. And once you have it stretched, then you can go for your isolations. I feel like this has been a better performance. Luka Doncic, I think, still gave a Luka Doncic performance. 31 points, 9 assists, 12 rebounds. LeBron James, 21 here, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. And I think, is there a way I can check offensive rebound numbers? The offensive rebounding battle wasn't as bad. In fact, the rebounding battle in general wasn't that bad. It was 9-9 in offensive rebounds for both teams. When you look at those stats themselves, and I think those are the 2 things that I thought was going to be important in the series, is how the mismatch hunting would go and the offensive rebounding. And I think they quelled those up for the Lakers. Jackson Hayes did not play much, so they went for a smaller lineup, which I think works a lot better against Rudy Gobert types. You got to drag it out. You got to stretch these guys out across the court. Anyway, let's talk about last night's games. 2-7 and 1-8 matchup. To be honest, it's a sweep either way. I think even without Jason Tatum, they're still able to handle themselves. And I think you can rest Jason Tatum for the whole series. It was kind of cool. I think there was a line, I'll have to find it, where Kristaps Porzingis was like bleeding from the middle of his forehead or something crazy. And someone was just like, oh yeah, someone took the unicorn's horn off. And I was like, oh, that's funny. But yeah, 100-109. Franz, not a great shooting night for him either. I want to pull up his exact numbers. Yeah, 1 of 7 from the field. Oh, 1 of 7 from 3. And 7 3-pointers made on this team. How much did the Celtics made? Celtics made 12. Yeah, they're not winning that battle on any front. KCP's 0 of 6 from 3, which is not great because KCP was brought in to alleviate some of that 3-point scoring. And so far, he has not been able to do that. But that's fine. This series, I think, is cooked for the Magic. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next year. Same with the Cavs versus the Miami Heat. I think the Miami Heat played a lot better than they did in game 1. I just think they don't have the offensive firepower to keep up with the Cavs. Tyler Hero had like 33 points. Yeah, Tyler Hero, 14 of 24 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3, 33 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Davion Mitchell, who's playing really well so far in the playoffs, 7 of 9 from the field, 2 of 4 from deep, 18 points, 6 assists. What more can you ask of Davion Mitchell, man? It's not his job to save you. Bam did not have a good scoring night, but almost came up with a triple-double, 11 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists. But when you look at the Cavs and just the offensive firepower these guys have, 5 members of this team are in double digits, and a lot of them are close to double digits. So I don't think there is a shot in hell the Cavs lose this series or lose the game. I think it's kind of cooked. So those series are the ones we don't care about. This one, I think, as I've said before, this was the series. This and the Clippers-Nuggets series are going to be the most exciting. I don't know if I think that anymore. Jimmy Butler's injury really highlighted a big problem of this Warriors team, is that in the Steph-less minutes, I have not seen a worse NBA team. Their offensive rating in those 11 minutes without Steph Curry in the game was, I think, like 48.3. Just for context. Usually it's, in the 90s, When you have an offensive rating of 48, yeah, no, that's pretty awful. It's pretty bad. So what makes it important about Jimmy Butler being injured is that Steph has someone who can keep defenses honest. When it's just Steph, and this Rockets defense is good sending bodies on Steph Curry because they're long and fast. They can deal with that. They don't need to worry. If it's just Steph that they have to focus on, they will laser in on him like there's no issue. And we saw that. After Jimmy Butler went down, Steph ended this game 20 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, which is a good game. Don't get it twisted. It's not a Stephen Curry game. We expect a little bit more from the greatest shooter of all time. Yeah, 6 of 15 from the field, 4 of 9 from deep, 6 turnovers, which is pretty out of character. When he doesn't have anyone to play off of, those 6 turnovers look tough. It looks pretty reasonable, Jimmy Butler was ruled out of the game after about 8 minutes of play. I don't know how came across. Amen Thompson basically landed on Jimmy Butler as he was falling, pushed him, and then kind of messed up his landing. But regardless, there is one person I want to talk about today, and that's Jalen Green. Because Jalen Green put up a goddamn stinker. Game 1, that was not the same person we saw here in Game 2. Jalen Green in 35 minutes, 13 out of 25 from the field, 8 of 18 from 3, which I don't know if I like him shooting 18 3-pointers, but it's fine, I guess. 38 points on the night. I think that's the second highest on this playoff so far. So he ends the night 38, 4, and 6 with 3 steals. Like, Jalen Green, man. This is what we all... This is Jalen Green. This is him in a nutshell. This is who he is. Bucket getter. If you need points in bunches, Jalen Green is the guy you call. Alperen Sengun had a good night. 40% from the field, 1 of 2 from deep, 17 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. What more can you ask? He's doing his job. Fred VanVleet had a stinker. Somehow played 42 minutes, but it's fine. Tari Eason also 14 points off the bench. Dylan Brooks 16. Amen Thompson with 11. This series hinges on Jimmy Butler's return. It all depends on what his timeline for return is. Because if he's out for 2 weeks, I think this series is over. I think they're cooked. As we saw in the minutes without Steph, this team is just not able to get a bucket without him. And without that, I think it's tough. I think in the Steph-less minutes, you're going to struggle. Unless you decide to play 36-year-old Steph Curry 44 minutes a game, I think it's going to be tough. I think there's a way that the Golden State Warriors can take a game. this can be a 6-game series. But without Jimmy Butler, I think it might go down 4-1, which is unfortunate. Of course, we don't want injuries to happen to anyone. And especially with a team like this, that we thought this was going to be an exciting series that kind of just got robbed from us. Hopefully Jimmy Butler gets well. Hopefully this series goes on a bit longer. And hopefully, luckily for you, I'm done yapping. That was every game for the night. Well, the last 2 nights. I'll be back again tomorrow because, God damn it, this was a long video and I don't want to do one of these again. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. Have a great day, night, wherever you are. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you like the video, please go ahead, leave it a like. That will be beautiful. If you liked it that little bit more, subscription's great too. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Heat fans are probably loving the fact that Jimmy's out. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.